Hello and welcome to what should be the Join Dota League Season 3 on HeflaTV 2. We are going to have a best of two series between First Departure and Insidious Idol, that is, if everybody can load in properly. As for your casters, I'm GrandisV, and I will be joined by the head honcho himself, Mr. Heflamoke.
Yeah, it's been a while. Damn, I'm probably really rusty with casting.
Yeah, a lot of managerial stuff in the background, getting the Heroes of the Storm stream and what have you going online, but either way, in this game we're going to go, although the draft hasn't started just yet.
Ah, there we are. We are actually in. Poloson just had some problems loading, but yeah, I'm really busy, to be honest. Like, it's a mix of everything. Like, there's a lot of stuff to do with HeflaTV growing and going into Heroes of the Storm, going into the Asian scene with our Chinese streams, which is also like growing so fast. We gonna be in Taiwan on the MSI, and there's a lot of organization and whatnot. Like, I just wish I had a second me or someone else capable of doing all these things. Plus, my semester started as well, so med school plus this is not really, well, it's not fitting together. Either way, I finally have a day off, or rather not a day off. I just took some time off, and yeah, casting Insidious Idol, First Departure. It's gonna be big. Unfortunately, there are many other games at the same time though, so I hope some people actually find this stream here, because this is a promising game.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna start out pretty standard. The Insidious Idol team is gonna ban out the Naga as well as the Doom, and First Departure ban out the Lycan and Razor. First pick Death Prophet by Insidious Idol, nothing too out of the ordinary yet.
Yeah, both teams, they want to go push here. This is push heavy, banning out push and getting the push. That's, well, I definitely like it. Exorcism versus the Treens as such at the moment, plus of course the local presence of the Nature's Prophet. Let's see, First Departure has the second pick, and they could still go for something pushy if they really want to go for it. But, well, if you play against the Death Prophet, you need some nuke to get him down. But nope, it's the push way they go.
Yeah, Shadow Shaman, you can't really go wrong with the hero. Offers some good single target disable, decent counter push, and then most importantly the Serpent Wards to push into towers and just really devastating the team fights. So yeah, First Departure, they still have plenty of picks to shore up their ability to focus down the Death Prophet and keep her at arm's length during the team fights. But yeah, for now, it's just going to be into the push with them, with the Treants as well as the Serpent Wards.
Yep, and this is of course, I mean, we see even sometimes the Shadow Shaman taking like the split push approach, like just equipped pretty much with his ultimate plus TP scroll, pushing here and there, planting those wards at the tower and then TPing back into the fights wherever they are. And well, Insidious Idol, we haven't mentioned the Void. He wasn't banned and he wasn't picked, so this way we have now Death Prophet plus Faceless Void. It's not the best of all synergies, but it's a very deadly one. There are better ones in my opinion, like the Sky of Mage is still there, which they have to ban. There's also the Witch Dog, which would be a nice candidate to ban. But after all, I mean, First Departure, they still have 2 bans to go. Maybe it's even those 2 supports.
Yeah, definitely. The Faceless Void means that Insidious Idol don't necessarily have to fully commit to the push. They have a decent amount of teamfight under the belt with the Chronosphere. Yeah, definitely pretty good at catching out the Nature's Prophet around the map, but the ban from First Departure, at least the first one, is going to be the Tidehunter. I would expect the Skywrath Mage to be banned out by them, although they do have first pick coming out of the second banning stage. So the Skywrath Mage might be their choice of support, and then they ban out the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Tidehunter is also, I mean, I focused so much on the Chronosphere and the damage that's coming into it, but the Tidehunter is also very good for a Chronosphere setup, because the Tidehunter can really stand in the background and then just blink in, and just get a nice setup with this Ravage. If he really catches out like 3 or 4 people on a certain place, that is exactly what Faceless Void is looking for. If you have to initiate as a Faceless Void, you always have that problem that, I don't know, do you have a BKB? Yes, no. If no, then you might have an instant hacks, for example, by the Shadow Shaman or by any Sheepstick that's out there or anything else, which we sometimes see when the Shadow Shaman, for example, has vision on the Void. You can precast that entire thing, so by the time you time walk in, you suddenly see yourself just getting nuked down even before the Chrono. A Tidehunter would make this problem much easier. Either way, we also have nice bans on Insidious Idol side. Venomancer is getting banned out. That would have been the 3rd pusher. I think a bit too much for Insidious, so it's right that they take this one out, like twice wards plus the Treens. No, that would have been too much. And of course a nice offlaner. No initiation by Mr. Centaur.
Yeah, despite already having the Nature's Prophet, it might make their lanes a little bit clumped, but still the Centaur would have fit pretty nicely, just offering another way to jump into the fights. That's really where First Departure are going to lack with these first two picks. They don't have really a great way to jump in. They have TP and Sprout, and eventually you'll have a Blink Hex from the Shadow Shaman, but early game, they'll struggle to find those initiations. First Departure, I think this ban is pretty much just going to be deciding what they want to pick up for themselves and what they don't want Insidious Idol to snag. I don't know, I think they're going to snag the Skywrath Mage for themselves, and then this ban is probably just going to be another synergizer with the Faceless Void.
It has to be. It has to be Skywrath Mage ban or Skywrath Mage pick the next one. I mean, the next pick on First Departure side. Otherwise, I just don't see this. But then again, I also had games like before I had a bit of my leisure time. Let's say like this. Like 2 weeks ago, I casted some games where the Skywrath Mage was completely ignored, and even now they go for the Earthshaker. And now the question is, Skywrath Mage pick in or not pick in? That's the big problem. Having it against you is, I think, a big mistake because Nature's Prophet sometimes is just TPing out. But now we already have Death Prophet Silence. We have the Bashes of the Faceless Void, which means even with the BKB, Nature's Prophet is never really safe to just get the hell out of there, which means we're going to see Shadowblade or Blink Dagger, anything like that. They decide to go for Viper instead, but that, of course, gives Insidious Idol exactly what we were talking about. Skywrath Mage is there.
Yeah, as nice as Viper is, playing up against the Skywrath Mage is going to be a pain. I don't know, despite Viper being pretty tanky, it's not enough to survive up against full duration Mystic Flare, inside the Chronosphere especially. Wraith King, the next choice for First Departure, presumably as their support, is going to function pretty well in their lineup. But honestly,
I'm not so sure about this, by the way. Like,
what?
This could still be a farming Wraith King.
Yeah, it definitely could.
Viper mid, Nature's Prophet offline, a Shadow Shaman in a roaming role plus X. Marana would be, for example, still there, and that could be a Wraith King farming. But of course, we might as well just see a second core being picked up in the 5th pick, and then the Wraith King is gonna go for a roaming setup with the Shadow Shaman, which is not too bad after all. Like level 2, they can do a lot of things happening.
Yeah, for sure. Wraith King, he offers that amount of flexibility in the draft, which is going to be very useful. Insidious Idol snag themselves up a Sand King. I really like the pick here, is with the Skywrath Mage, it makes up for the fact that Sand King's Burrow Strike early on has a really short range, and he'll be able to gank effectively, and even if they don't, if he gets up an early Blink Dagger, the synergy with the Faceless Void is also there, channeling up the Epicenter, blinking in the middle of the Chrono, and you also have a Mystic Flare going on. First Departure are going to be hard-pressed to survive throughout that if they catch a good Chronosphere, which is going to be key for Insidious Idol.
Yeah. Like, the good Chronosphere, that's exactly what we've been talking about. And so far, I mean, look at what we got. I mean, we have the Chronosphere plus the Mystic Flare. That's one out. We have the Death Prophet. For the duration of a Chronosphere, a Death Prophet with 4 points, and each gets at least 2 Crypt Swarms in there. And of course, when the Exorcism, or if the Exorcism is online, like, it's even doing damage there on a secondary target. Plus, if the Sand King has the perfect setup, he can just go into that Chronosphere, and the Epicenter obviously is not getting interrupted. So if we see a fat Chrono and all these abilities align, then I just see a bad team wipe for First Departure. The only one who might survive it is the Viper and the Wraith King. Wraith King due to ultimate, Viper due to tankiness. But even a Viper, like, you might be tanky even against magical damage, but not against all of this.
Yeah, I think really the only survivor is the Wraith King, and especially if it's a support Wraith King, there's a very low chance they'll be able to get out after dropping the Reincarn when all of his team is already dead. So First Departure, this last pick is going to, I don't know, kind of tell what they're going to be doing this game. They have some decent heroes of their own, but I like Insidious Idol's lineup quite a bit better, is they just have a lot of ways to initiate. And First Departure are going to get themselves one extra way with the Storm Spirit now to jump in. If they're able to bring down the Faceless Void before the team fight begins, that's going to pretty much ensure that they're going to be able to focus down the right targets. I don't know, but if that Faceless Void survives, he's still going to be a thorn in their side.
And it's dangerous.
Yes.
It's freaking dangerous. That Storm Spirit. I mean, it's a squishy hero. Sure, you might find the Void and you might lock him down, but if there's a Skywrath Mage around, you get silenced. If there's a Death Prophet around, you get silenced. And even, like, alone the Sand King Skywrath Mage combination can kill them. Sand King doesn't even have to be 6, but for example, a roaming Skywrath Mage who has a good start, like Burrow Strike on a Storm Spirit, silence him, and the Mystic Flare on top of it, that's his death. Unless that Storm Spirit is super farmed ahead in levels and items, obviously. So I don't like this one at all. Plus, the Chronosphere applies to him as well. We have at the moment 3 squishy targets on the pitch for first departure. That's Nature's Prophet, Shadow Shaman, and Storm Spirit. All three of them, they're getting taken out by just one Mystic Flare. Viper might survive it. Wraith King will just survive it because of the reincarnation. But after that, yeah, what is he supposed to do? He might just die as well. Or again, because everyone else is dead already.
Yeah, it's going to put a lot of the storm's pressure on the Storm Spirit to make sure that he doesn't die early on, so he's able to get up his farm. He needs an Orchid and a BKB before he really comes online, but then again, if he gets that too late, he's still going to be dropped inside the Faceless Void Chronosphere with the physical damage of Exorcism, as well as the Faceless Void just right-clicking him down. So, Insidious Idol, this last pick, I'm going to presume it's going to be an offlaner, although the top-tier offlaners have been banned out or taken up, so we're probably going to see an offlane Faceless Void and maybe another farming hero, but Insidious Idol, there's a lot of different directions they could go.
Yep, I mean, Insidious Idol, they need an offlaner. Just give anything into the offlane, that's just fine, because Sand King, Scarab Mage, that's sufficient support. They can roam, they have a stun, a slow, a silence, and a ton of damage, and yeah, Bristleback, that adds another tanky hero, something, for example, that will not die easily by a Storm Spirit, which is also absolutely fine against like clearing out waves. Only problem is Bristleback is pretty easily kited by a Viper, but well, the Viper, well, he has to face all the other heroes as well. So when it comes to drafts, my vote goes for Insidious Idol. I think a much better draft. The only thing you can really lose this, like just by default, is if you fuck up your chrono or if your Void gets taken out before. But if everything aligns for Insidious Idol, I just see their fights going their way.
Yeah, well, as far as the draft is concerned, I'm going to agree with you, but into the game we go. First departure playing on the Radiant side, with Mikasa or Miracle playing on the Nature's Prophet in the offlane. In mid, we are going to have Chaos handling the Storm Spirit, and the safe lane tri-lane is going to be farming, Dafa on the Viper, Kai on the support Wraith King, and Shadow Shaman will be handled by Lubby.
Yep. And on the other side, we have Mr. Void, the guy we talked so much about. It's Chu. And I said it long because there's a lot of W's there. Either way. And the Radiant Jungle at the moment, we have 4, the rest of the gang. Shagasaros playing the Bristleback, Polozon on the Scarab Mage. Then, of course, the guy he's going to roam with is Chibix. And the last one who's heading mid right now is, of course, the Death Prophet here, played by Isera.
Yeah. This mid lane matchup, Death Prophet versus Storm Spirit, although we're probably not going to see any kills unless there's support rotations, Death Prophet should have a wonderful time in this lane, especially with the earlier portions, just with the range advantage as well as Crypt Storm being able to shove out the wave. Top lane is going to be Chu mostly solo versus Miracle, and this lane's going to go fine for both of them. Slight advantage towards the Nature's Prophet, but not significant at all. Bottom is probably where we're going to... Yep.
This haste rune might actually be dangerous, because with that haste rune, the Sand King actually can get the Burrow Strike in a target. But the biggest problem about a Sand King right at the start is always that the range of the Burrow Strike level 1 is so horribly short. But now with this haste rune, that's no problem. And we talked about the Storm. This is bad news for him. He needs a good start. He desperately needs a good start.
Yeah, and this is not the way to have as they start with the Burrow Strike, follow-up Concussive Shot. They're just going to right-click him down. Despite Chipix falling low, they should have enough damage. Will it be there? They need one more right-click, and it's not going to happen as Isera is looking for the Crypt Storm. Is he going to find it? He will. First blood drawn by Isera, excuse me.
First draw blooded. No, that was also the other way around. Either way, the good start he needed, it is pretty much denied. I mean, okay, that early first blood, it's not a big drama, but oh, at the same time, well, Shadow Shaman doing a good job here. Shagasaurus getting quite some harass damage on the offlane, but still overall, back to that Storm. He needed that good start, and yeah, the first blood on the Death Prophet side. Let's see, he needs to do a lot of catch-up, but bottom, look at this!
Yeah, they find themselves a kill on the Bristleback. The Bristleback just got too cocky, and the Wraithfire Blast as well as the Ether Shock harass from the Shadow Shaman was enough. They just chase him down. This is not a lane that the Bristleback can be very comfortable in at all. And, I don't know, with a death under his belt, Shagasaurus is going to have an even worse time. These supports need to help him out or something. I don't know, Bristleback is an offlaner. He might get his levels in this lane, but even that is going to be questionable. He can't really go off in the jungle with the start that he's had.
And I want to go again. I mean, they have everything they need. They have the Ether Shock for the burst, they have the Shackles, as stunned by the Wraith King at the moment. Okay, well, at least clarity, he's also full to mana. But I was really surprised by that kill overall, because, like, the Shadow Shaman landed so much harass damage on him, he didn't leave the lane and regen up. So the Wraith King just came in and they finished the job. So that was a big surprise to me. But, well, Bristleback is back. The question is now, how close does he get? Because if he gets too close, they're just going to rinse and repeat this.
Yeah, currently our 2 supports up and top Pulson as well as Jibix are smoked up and potentially looking for a go on Mikasa here. But he's under his tower and is playing very defensively, just sending his treants out. As the supports are missing, he can't really show his face. And he should be fine. With the way he's positioned, there is no way they're going to dive him that deep.
Yeah. Now at the moment he's going to steal some XP here, and there's nothing they can do because the Viper is occupied with a full creep wave under the tower that is of course not tanked by anything else. So the Bristleback successfully stealing some XP away, so in the end they can't really do anything against him, or can they?
Let's see, they're not going to throw out any stuns, and Chegosaurus is just going to be annoying here. Although he might be overstepping his bounds, they don't lock him down at all. The Viper is too far away to contribute anything, and he's just going to get bopped by the Wraith King once.
It's also that Viper, like the level 1 poison attack is nothing that's really, I don't know, too impressive, so you definitely need the level 2 poison attack to kite him successfully, and maybe they just want to give the Viper one more level, but let's see, he's level 4, we have to see what he actually picks up.
Yep, he is going to go for the second point in the poison attack. I like this build. It will help them kill the Bristleback by quite a bit, as the Nature's Prophet potentially looking for a wraparound on the mid, although I'm not sure what he's actually going to accomplish. Other than clearing up this illusion, there's not much that he can do. Death Prophet currently having a field day versus the Storm Spirit after getting First Blood up against him, 23-8 compared to 13-1 of the Storm. This Storm Spirit has a lot of catching up to do, and he's going to try to do that by farming up a Jungle Gold stack, or at least stacking it up so that he can farm it later.
Yeah, and top we're not going to see any... Oh, there's a stun on the Bristleback here. The Shackles following, and now, of course, with the level 2 poison attack, they should be able to kite him, but he's too deep under the tower. I don't know if... No, Viper, you shouldn't go for that. That's a bit too much, and he's getting tons of tower hits as well.
Well, despite getting the tower hits, they're going to put a little bit of damage on this tower, but then again, Bristleback pulls the aggro off with the Quills, and that's going to be all she wrote. Sand King finds an Invis rune. This could be another kill on our Storm Spirit if he's not careful. He might just keep his head inside the jungle. It looks like he's aware of the fact that the Sand King is missing, but might just assume that he's in the jungle. For now, KS is playing defensively enough to where the Sand King can't get the jump on him. Actually, they did spot out the invisibility rune being picked up, so Storm Spirit shouldn't be caught out here.
Yeah, but that Bristleback, Jesus, I'm really worried about the Bristleback, as in, like, worried about first departure, because he's gonna have such a good time. This was almost a double or triple wave even. Now another one's coming to the tower, and he's finding level 6 very soon.
Yeah. Despite the Nature's Prophet not dying, he just hasn't been able to find that level of experience, and is currently a full level down from the Bristleback. So yeah, Nature's Prophet's completely moved into the jungle, leaving the Faceless Void alone. This is going to be fine for Insidious Idol. Despite how well their supports can roam, they're also more than happy just to sit in lane, get some stacks up for the Sand King, and get some experience from the Scarab Mage as they do go. Yep, Chegosaurus sprouted up. They're looking for the kill. They're going to get a lot of damage on the Lubby, but they will bring him down in the end. The 5 stacks of Quills and Shadow Shaman almost bring him down before he dies, but it's just not enough. Nature's Prophet TPing in for good measure will secure that kill.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is at the moment, first departure, they need so much effort even to get the Bristleback down. That's one thing. While all this is happening, the Void, they're not pushing, they're just farming with the Sand King, stacking like incredibly well. Like they're doing double pulls, nothing is reaching that tier 1 tower top, and the Void is just farming. He's gonna reach level 6, or he actually reached it just as I speak, and we have a triple stack coming for the Sand King, which means besides a Bristleback doing quite well, okay, he died, but that's not a big deal as such, that Scarab Mage, Void, and Sand King, that they will just come back with tons of farm.
Yep, not to mention the Death Prophet, who's currently sitting at level 7 and has also had pretty much unimpeded farm. Currently the top of the last hits. There's just nothing that they're really going to be able to do. In fact, they're going to give this stack to Sarah. Not a huge fan of this choice. Maybe she's just going to weaken it up for the Sand King, but looks like she's actually going to take it all the way.
Yep, no, she's going for it because she got the regeneration rune, which means she just spams out everything and then regenerates up completely. That's at least how it looks like. But oh, Bristleback, you don't want to be there, even though there is this observer ward which sees everything. But oh, Bristleback, he's slowed by the Viper.
Yeah, now the Hex follow-up from Lubby. You'll be able to shackle in place. Lubby needs to be careful as to not die from Quills, but they'll follow up with the Wraithfire Blast. He does die to the Quills, so he wasn't careful enough as they rotate and Pulse on the zip in from the Storm Spirit. It looks like they're going to get Shagasaurus. They will right-click him down, and now Pulse on in a very awkward situation gets Wraithfire blasted and pulled back into the Storm Spirit. Right-clicks are going to be there. They're going to pull him down, although Kai needs to get out of there as they jump in Chronosphere onto 2. There's no follow-up, but Kai is just going to be bopped down. Those, Faceless Void right clicks will be enough, and now they pull in Chibix. They're going to probably bring down the Storm Spirit. He doesn't have a lot of mana to jump, but Chibix is going to fall to the Viper Strike being thrown out. Now Chu going to be Viper Struck as well. Doesn't have mana to leap out. He used the leap already, and now Zip Zap in. Double kill for KS.
Wow, I did not see this coming. I actually thought Insidious Idol is just striking back here because it was a very good situation for them, losing the Prisser but getting so much in return. But no, Prisserback is back, and now, yeah, throwing those boogies on him, but that doesn't help him really much. Now the Shackles are coming out, and he's in trouble.
Yeah, Lubby is also going to be in trouble. He's going to die another time as Shagasaurus gets brought down by the Nature's Prophet. Mikasa's pretty low, but so is Pulson, who will get the kill. It is going to be Mikasa. Double kill for him as the Scarlet Mage just couldn't back out there. In the meantime, while all that was happening, is Sarah gets a kill on the tier 1 tower in mid with Exorcism as well as 3 points up into Witchcraft. But all of that action, I thought that they'd stop eventually, but no, they just TP everybody in. I
actually thought that Isera is showing after that fight because, like, he could be the tipping influence on that fight. Like, another silence, the Crypt Spawn, which is very high damage at the moment. Obviously, it's 4 points into it, and he had Exorcism as well. But they decided they fight 4 versus 5 pretty much, and he gets the tower in the meantime. I guess, looking back to this fight, I think fighting and then going for a tier 1 tower might have been the better choice, but sure, at least they got something out of it. Not the very optimal fight, but at least a tier 1 tower.
Yeah. Chu, after dropping the Chronosphere there, is going to back up and farm. He's gonna get his Mask of Madness next, and after he has that, he'll be able to fight a little bit more effectively. KS is going to start making up a little bit of his ground as he clears up his own stack, but no regeneration rune on him. He'll be forced back to base after he clears this one up. And it's gonna take a little bit longer than maybe he'd like to do. Although the Storm Spirit might be able to find something, we do have a TP deep into the enemy lines by Mikasa. Not going to find a courier. I think that's what he was looking for, though.
Yeah, but the courier is not even close. But in the meantime, we're gonna have an Exorcism pretty much used soon for this tier 1 tower, and there seems to be no rotation. There's the Exorcism, and it's coming out. At the same time, of course, we have Lobby and Mr. Viper here also work on our tier 1 tower, but their pushing potential is way slower.
Yeah, as nice as Nether Toxin is at working down this tower, it's not fast enough, and they're going to lose their tier 1 before they're able to take it in return, and probably won't even take it. They drop it to about half, which is nice and all, but it's not enough. Storm Spirit, oh, they're going to TP back in. They find Mikasa. He stuck around way too long. The Burrow Strike from the high ground will cancel it. Why was he still there?
I have no idea. He couldn't really get out. He has no TP scroll with him, and he was waiting for his TP cooldown, but then the Scarab Mage spotted him, and then they were like, oh, look, there's an easy kill. Let's go for it. And that is a very strange play by the Nature's Prophet, to be honest.
Yeah, he TP'd in deep into enemy lines without a TP scroll and didn't really do anything with it. Faceless Void with the Chronosphere now sitting bottom. If First Departure commit to this tier 1 tower, they might be caught out by a nasty surprise, but this is a lot of time that you could be farming or doing something else. Let's see. They are going to go into it. They do not have level 6 on the Lubby, about halfway towards this level 6, but that's not going to cut it. They Wraithfire Blast up Shagasaurus, and now tag him with a couple of poison attacks. Their tier 1 tower might fall, but here comes the Glyph and Chu looking for the Time Walking Chrono, potentially from the left. Are they going to commit it? They're not going to, as First Departure are backing off.
Yeah, but the Wraith King, I think they might still be able to go. Only problem is, of course, the Nature's Prophet is missing. No Nature's Wrath either. And now there's the smoke. I think they're gonna go in.
Yeah, looks like they will. They're going to find themselves Lubby with a concussive shot to start things off. Chibix is going to get in range for the Burrow Strike. They'll be able to drop Lubby before this fight begins. Now they silence up Kai. Kai's in a bit of a sticky situation. Now with the goo as well as the Mask of Madness, he's going to be bashed down. Loses Reincarnation very quickly. Nobody's in position right now, but there's still a Chronosphere on him, Mr. Chu, although he's going to get Viper struck up and can't do very much damage in it, and it's going to be forced onto the back lines of the fight. The Courier is inbound as the mechanism gets delivered at a very useful time for Dafa. He's going to start right-clicking down. There's your Nature's Wrath. Bouncing a Pulse on as well as Shagasaurus. They're going to be able to drop him down as Mikasa TP's in. He's in an awkward situation. Nice Burrow Strike. Now into the Chronosphere. They're going to be able to drop the Nature's Prophet. Zip Zaps through the Chronosphere. They're going into the Ysera on the right side of the fight. We'll be able to drop him down as Dafa trying to right-click for all he's worth. TP attempt from Chu. Chu is going to be able to make it out. No Wraithfire Blast is available and no pull from Chaos, but they probably are going to find Chibix here. Do they have any detection on the ground? I don't think so. They're just going to drop a Static Remnant, and that's going to kill off Chibix. There you go. Double kill for Chaos.
Yep, very strange fights. I thought with the Chronosphere, this fight is ending very well for Insidious Idol, but in the end, First Departure, like, very confident, and they just made it somehow work. I don't even know how, but interesting to say the least. Now, Insidious Idol behind 5 kills, and they go for the tier 1 tower, finish what they started, but Insidious Idol seems to be able, maybe, to defend it. No, I don't think so.
They're gonna try. Double silence comes out from the Death Prophet as they jump in onto Kai. He doesn't have the reincarnation. He's gonna stun up, choose the Skywrath Mage. Mystic Flare does very little. He heals up the Skywrath Mage as they go for Kai. Now they're gonna change target onto the Shadow Shaman. He drops his wards, which are doing some decent damage, but probably won't do enough, as the Shadow Shaman is going to be the only kill here. And tier 1 tower didn't see how that fell, as Shadow Shaman did give his life the way of the Bristleback. Let's see, it was denied by the Bristleback, so big one for Insidious Idol as they're able to compete against that. They can't really farm these Serp wards very effectively, and they're going to be defended by First Departure.
I'm surprised the Storm didn't go in here. Like, he could have subbed on the Sand King next to the wards. Like, even the Bristleback could have been held in place, but oh, he's going for the Skywrath Mage instead. Found him while he was dropping a ward, and that's definitely a kill. Nature's Wrath is helping there, and now they can even deward it because there's a sentry ward directly next to it.
Yep, there you go. With the uphill vision granted by the static remnants, they'll be able to clean those up very quickly. Dafa currently pushing down bottom. It's only a Bristleback, and for now, they're kind of spread out. Insidious Idol have used a lot of their time to try and combat these pushes, and it's time that the Faceless Void hasn't been farming. So despite having a really early start, he's not farming that incredibly fast, with only 52 CS 13 minutes into the game, and is falling behind the Nature's Prophet as well as the Storm, who have been able to catch up admirably. Chaos now working towards his BKB, and you have a Nature's Prophet that throughout a lot of those fights was able to continuously farm. Mikasa now with 3 null talismans in the makings of a Blade Mail. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, and overall, Insidious Idol, it's one of the worst games I've seen, as in having a optimal, very optimal laning stage, but as soon as they started to rotate, go into fights, it made just a turn for First Departure. So First Departure actually overcame the fact that the laning stage was everything but optimal for them. Interesting, I have to say, very interesting.
Yeah, currently our graphs are almost entirely zeroed out in the gold department. 2,000 lead and First Departure in the experience. So yeah, after a really shaky start from them, they're going to be bouncing back. Storm Spirit opting to go for the BKB before the Orchid, I think, is completely fine, as he might look for a go in mid, although the Bristleback is not his primary target. If he has backup, they might still be able to go for it. Is Mikasa LOLs? Huh.
Nice PBR. Okay. Whatever that means. WHR? YRS? You speak that language?
No, I don't. Tier 1 tower is going to fall to the Shadow Shaman wards up top.
Oh, but look bottom, the Viper in an awkward position because Death Robot is waiting behind him all the time now. Exorcism, Mystic Flare, he's super tanky but not tanky enough for this. How many ultimates were there? All 3 committed to this Viper.
Yep. Well, they got him. It's going to be Exorcism away from the tier 1 tower, but it'll still be enough to get some damage off. As in mid, they're probably going to lose this tier 1 tower. Although Shagosaurus is inbound, I don't think he should go for this tonight. He might be able to find it. Let's see. He does have his mechanism, is decently tanky, but if he shows his face, he'll be in a lot of trouble. So Radiant get themselves a tier 1 tower in mid, and down in bottom, looks like we're going to see Insidious Idol putting a little bit of damage on this tier 1 tower, although it's not very significant, as Exorcism is going to wear off.
Yeah, it's just not fast enough. Like, the time he needed to push towards that tower. It was also just a level 1 Exorcism. He just dinged level 11 on that Viper kill. So in the end, this is a Viper for a tier 1 in mid, while Nature's Prophet is farming as well. So First Departure still having, like, when you look at golden experience, still in a better shape here. Like, I don't know, a Viper kill for so much going on the other sides of the map. Now First Departure, like, they show some initiative, but they're not gonna find anyone. Maybe a lucky courier around the secret shop, but even the courier is not sitting there at the moment.
Oh, Chibix, he walks into the wrong neighborhood. Wraithfire Blast, pull from the Storm Spirit, just an awkward situation to find himself in. I suppose the gank was tanked, but down in the tier 2 tower bottom, they're going to go with the Nature's Prophet summoning some treants, and now the Serp ward's committed. They should be able to get it, although there is the Chronosphere coming out from the Faceless Void, but no Exorcism.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Like, going in here with the Chrono, that is of course a bad idea, but they still might do it.
Well, let's see. Tier 2 tower is falling very low. I think the best they can hope for is a deny here, and maybe some farm Serp wards will be able to get it. It's going to be destroyed by the Nature's Prophet of all things, as they do get a Sprout into Shagosaurus. Won't be able to follow that up. Kai is incredibly low, despite having his ultimate available. Will stick up, and he's going to be in a pretty comfortable spot, as Nature's Prophet TPs out, and they'll farm some wards for the trouble. But still,
yeah,
win for First Departure.
I mean, tier 2 tower for, I don't know, 250 to 350 gold from the wards, that's not really worth it. And they just stood around there, like, doing absolutely nothing. And The problem I have at the moment is that I have the feeling that Insidious Idol could still take the fights. I mean, Mystic Flare, Chronosphere, even the Epicenter was about to come up again. They had even the Exorcism, which is level 2 now. I don't really see why they didn't take a fight before, for example, the Master Awards came out, but they decided not to go for it. Instead, they go for Roshan. Okay, I mean, they're on the dire side, and we are 17 minutes in, so it's really about time they take it.
Yeah, with the minus armor from the Nasal Goo, as well as Mask of Madness perma bashing him down, Exorcism, a very easy Roshan for them to take, and I'll secure Chu and Aegis for himself. In the meantime, we do have the BKB on the Storm, so their tools in order to fight are coming out from First Departure pretty effectively. The Nature's Prophet also farming up the Storm, currently sitting at about 3,000 gold. His build from here could go in many different directions, but for now, he's right-clicking pretty darn hard, 140 a pop.
Yeah, and I think for First Departure, the next step is top. At least it looks like it, because, yeah, Kai and, of course, Lobby, they're heading towards the dire jungle, and 3 of them, they're already there. Oh, well, the Nature's Prophet just TP'd back to base, but he will come sooner or later. He has level 4 teleportation, so that's just about, yeah, some seconds he needs till he's back here with Treants and whatnot. And, yeah, there's the Siege Engine. Viper can tank the tower even for quite a while. And the defense, I don't know, if there's a fight breaking out, they're pretty far away, especially the Prissaback is staying in mid. Nope, he's TPing top.
Yeah, he is their mechanism carrier as they throw a concussive shot in the backlines. They are going to find themselves Chu and potentially Kai. Let's see, Kai's going to follow that last Arcane Bolt. We'll lose Reincarnate as they jump in, looking for the Chrono. Going to find it. The Mystic Flare is doing very little damage, actually, onto KS as he had the BKB popped. And now it looks like the Stormster is going to be able to zip back in as the mechanism heals him back up. Pulson's going to be focused down as an Epicenter comes through. Doesn't do that much damage, but it's going to be enough to get the kill on the Skywrath Mage. And now looking for more. Sarah finds himself a double kill.
I don't know what he was doing there. Like, that fight was over, and he's just TPing in and feeding away his life. The only one who makes it out is Lobby, and that was not even because he just hadn't any choice. Like, he was completely, because the wards were dropped, and that's pretty much it. So, in the end, this is a 4-for-1 trade with about 50% on a tier 2 tower. That definitely brings Insidious Idol in a very nice position. This is the fight I've been waiting for all the time. For some reason, the previous fights that were very awkward, but this one, that's exactly how it should be. Even though we didn't have a Mystic Flare in the Chrono, but Epicenter was golden. It was on 3 people at least.
Yeah, it was. It could have gone a lot worse for First Departure as the Stormster. He popped the BKB during the Mystic Flare, so it did no damage. He was able to pop out and focus down Poloson on the Skywrath Mage after the fact, but he'd already dropped the majority of his spells, so it didn't actually matter that much. And then you do have the Sand King coming in with the Blink Epicenter onto 3 with the follow-up Burrow Strike. It was really good after the fact. So maybe First Departure thought they could take a fight with their Nature's Prophet TP again, but it just wasn't. So Mikasa is still looking pretty good in the farm department, but he shouldn't have showed his face. After 3 heroes die, you can't take that fight.
Yep. And then, by the way, look at the experience graph. Like, this fight and what happened before, I mean, this is Roshan plus this fight top. This is a 7.5 and even more XP swing. And I just looked at the hero levels at the moment. Like, we have Ysera leading with 13. Like, the Prophet just got 12. And the rest of them, they are pretty much all 11 except for the 3 supports, the Wraith King, the Rasta, as well as Poloson on the Skywrath Mage. So, Insidious Idol, they took a huge leap with this fight. This was exactly what brought them back. Like, right now we could call this game even again. Like, not as in towers, but experience and gold. It couldn't be more close. Maybe even slightly in favor for Insidious Idol, because all the heroes, they scale very well with levels.
Yeah, definitely. The tier 1 tower down in bottom is also going to help them as First Departure aren't in position to defend this. They're pushing out mid and top, so they do have to back off immediately after this, although they are going to have all of their ultimates back online, and I'm not sure First Departure can comfortably take this fight. They probably need to just back. Maybe they'll drop Serpent Wards and maybe they'll get this tier 2, but they can't commit their heroes to this.
Nope, like, they're also not fast enough. I mean, they place the Mass Serpent Wards. I think Insidious Idol gives this top tower just a Y, so that's a tier 2 for tier 1 tower, but still, like, the fact that Insidious Idol, they're spread all over the map, farm the enemy jungle as well, like, they're just doing much better as in gold at the moment. Like, tower 1-1 trade, but still a much better spread out farm, and both teams seem to, I don't know, it's very strange. None of them is really aggressive, but maybe Viper, that's an awkward position he's in. He's alone versus 4, because 2 are coming from the north, and this is an easy kill. It should be an easy kill.
Yep, probably gonna start with the Blink Burst Strike, and there it is. Mystic Flare on top of Dalpha, he's silenced up, he's gonna take a lot of damage, and now the Epicenter also committed. Not sure if that was entirely necessary, but they're going to find the kill on the Viper yet again. There's a Wraith King still inbound as they go into Shagasaurus. Shagasaurus is going to get caught up, but a nice Burrow Strike coming up from the Stand King. BKB popped too late from Chaos, and he's gonna be forced to Ball Lightning out of there. Nobody's going to die after the fact, but now Mikasa comes in with the Blade Mail. It's just gonna be ripped to shreds by the Exorcism. Wraithfire Blast goes away to Sarah, but still 2 kills going the way of Insidious Idol, and now Lubby not looking too safe as another Burrow Strike goes the way of Kai. Kai, no reincarnation for 30 seconds, double kill for Sarah, and Shagasaurus picking himself up a killing spree as they find themselves 4 freebies. His first departure just kind of come in one after another in a very awkward situation. Yeah,
this was a very bad decision, but it felt like just like top where the Nature's Prophet, he came pretty much 10 seconds after the fight was already pretty much called. Like it feels like you have a huge army and everybody's calling retreat, and then you have that single rider who's I don't know, rushing through the lines towards the enemy. It feels a bit like, you know, one of those melodramatic war scenes where it is, I don't know, how can you call it, like very eager fighter is just not giving up. But in this case, first departure, they could have gone out here with just Viper lost, but in the end they lose 4 because somehow Mikasa called the fight. But there was nothing to get. Storm Spirit, like on what, 300 HP, no reincarnation on the Wraith King. He was already below 50% HP. Viper was far away because he was about to respawn, could have TP'd, but still, Lobby couldn't do anything there, wasn't even there, and I just don't know where this fight was supposed to go.
I mean, if they had the reincarnation, which was on cooldown for only 30 seconds before that fight, as well as Storm Spirit popping his BKB before he jumped in, maybe they could have taken it a little bit more convincingly. But with the Storm Spirit dying as he jumped, and the Viper is starting off the fight already dead, it's just not a very good place to be throwing yourself into. Bristleback, he picks himself up a Halberd, which is actually going to be incredibly useful versus first departure. As the Viper, he'll be thinking about a BKB as his next time, but doesn't have it just yet. Storm Spirit's BKB, although it's here now and it's going to be very useful in the next couple of fights, is going to drop very low in duration. He might be looking for a jump, and then even the Nature's Prophet, he wants to be right-clicking very liberally in this fights with his build of the Null Talismans. Oh, yep, Storm just gets jumped on. Burrow Strike, there's your Mystic Flare, no BKB going to be popped in time. And this BKB is more or less a dead item in the Storm Spirit's inventory. It saved him in that one fight, but only for a little bit, as he hasn't been able to find any kills with it.
Also, Lobby is very dangerous what he's doing there, but okay, there are some blinks coming out, but unfortunately it was not the blinks of Insidious Idol. Or do they want him? No, they don't want him. But he was walking under enemy observer ward. Either way, this is Storm down, and first departure, they give away this tower. The last some seconds of the Exorcism done most of the work. The rest will be just, yeah, chopped down by all of them. And I don't know, theoretically, they could keep going, in my opinion. Yeah. I think they could actually keep going here, but they won't. They just farm.
I mean, they have the fresh BKB on the Faceless Void. Chronosphere as well as Epicenter are available. They aren't going to go for it, I think, because Exorcism is down. I don't know, if they had that cooldown, I don't see a good reason why they shouldn't, as even in a 5v5 fight, they're still going to win it pretty convincingly. As long as Chu doesn't completely whiff the Chronos, they find themselves a Burrow Strike initiation on poor Lubby, just blown apart.
Yep, he just wanted to ward, like he came in peace, but he got, yeah, he ended up in pieces. That's the problem, and well, with all the tier 2 towers gone, like it's Insidious Idol's call when they want to go high crown, and I have the feeling they can go for it. Maybe make something happening on the Wraith King before, so you have no reincarnation to deal with, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all they have to do at the moment. We see in Golden XP, like this started about 10 minutes ago. At 15 minutes we had the first good fight for Insidious Idol. Roshan into a good fight, and now the last 10 minutes always been in the sign of, like, yeah, Insidious Idol. With the second Roshan, they even gonna solidify this, while Chibix is just gonna deward a lot. And yeah, this is bad news. This is really bad news for first departure, because after this Roshan, I just don't see how they're gonna hold it. But first departure is always good for a surprise, so maybe we see some nice high ground fight here, which goes in favor for first departure, and we might see a good counter.
Yep, Chu. Now with an Aegis, they might wait for 90 seconds, so they'll have the Exorcism for the high ground push, but after they have Exorcism up, there's very little stopping them. The BKB on the Viper is going to be useful, but then again, it's not going to be enough. He'll be able to sit in the front lines a little bit more effectively, but then again, he's a Viper with no damage items. you need to get them low to start things off, and there's just not a great way to do that. Yeah, Nature's Prophet Ultimate might help a little bit, but right now, they're looking for Storm up top. Chaos, let's see how fast he is on his fingers. His Chibix, they're going to jump in, looking for the Chrono. They're going to find it. Gets the BKB off, so a lot of this damage is going to be mitigated, but BKB is going to wear down, and now they might be able to find him. He's going to TP out. Will they be able to find him in the woods? No Blink Burrow Strike. He's not close enough. And, well, Chronosphere for BKB charge on the Storm Spirit. Chronosphere is not going to be down for that much longer.
Yeah, I mean, Chronosphere, Jesus, this is just a 100-second cooldown, and they're not interested in pushing apparently anyway. So the next 100 seconds, they're just gonna keep on farming, and the Storm Spirit just lost another second of his BKB, which is a very crucial BKB. I mean, this BKB is the only thing that stands between him and getting just permanently stunned or silenced. And if that BKB is on 4 seconds, he can't even do anything. Even the Chronosphere, like at the end of the Chronosphere, he still might die to magical damage, not just to the right clicks of the Faceless Void. So having this low BKB is bad news for the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, it really is. A lot of Faceless Void's damage is magical with the Maelstrom as well as the Time Lock, so he wasn't able to bring him down inside the Chrono. But yeah, Storm Spirit, it's just a really bad game to be the Storm. I'd presume he's going for a Scythe as his next item with that Ultimate Orb, but I'm not sure it would be enough. He's just not had a very good game. We are going to have the push... What?
We have the decision. Insidious Idol, they blink on a tier 3 tower. We have Lubby doing some creep skipping, but that's it.
Yeah, he's going to be forced to TP back. He has the Serpent Wards. The Glyph is going to delay things, and they might jump in with Kai, but he's silenced up. Blade Mail's not going to do very much. He's going to lose his ultimate, or might. They're not going to commit for it. Probably a wise choice as they jump in. Oh, jump right back out. He can't really comfortably go in, and now... the barracks, they're probably just going to be focused down. Chu is on the back lines, has Chronosphere, and if anybody actually jumps, they're just going to get counter-initiated on, and the melee barracks is going to fall without any full skirmishes. Just everybody poking their heads in and poking them back out as they look for Stegosaurus. BKB on KS, they're looking for it, but now Chronosphere not going to come out as he gets hexed up. Chu, currently Chicken, now shackled. Stegosaurus is still standing pretty strong as Kai. Blade Mail is going to wear off, and Chu, he's still stunned. He's looking for the Time Walk away. He's going to find it. Stegosaurus loses his life, and there's still an Aegis onto this Faceless Void, so it's just going to be the Bristleback as well as Skyrath Mage losing their lives, but they still, at the end of the day, come away with the melee barracks down, and that's all that really matters.
Skyrath Mage killed himself. Like, the Furion was split pushing while this fight was going on in the bottom lane, and like they needed 2 of the supports to actually stop the Nature's Prophet, but unfortunately he popped his Blade Mail and Skyrath Mage just pumped a full scale assault into that Blade Mail, so he died on it. Like, in the end, Nature's Prophet is getting about 80% damage on the tier 3 tower bottom. But the problem is, like, even if that fight was not very optimal, as in, like, hero trades, still, Insidious Idol, they get a ranged, a melee racks and a range racks below 50%. So, like, even if you trade bad with the heroes, this is a trade you can do any time, because this game is called Defense of the Ancients, and the objectives are more important than all the trades.
Yeah. And now those items are going to start coming out pretty big for Insidious Idol, as they have a Mjolnir complete on the Faceless Void and an Atos for your Bristleback. Not an item that I would anticipate him going for, although it's going to keep the Viper at arm's length during the teamfights and really good for kiting around the Wraith King. Well, it's going to prove pretty useful, especially if the Storm Spirit goes for a Lincoln Sphere, and at this point I don't think he can. He needs anything to help him find pickoffs. And currently pushing out mid, he just can't do enough. Is down in bottom, they're going to go again. They still have a minute or so left on this Aegis. And Chu, another Chronosphere up. This tier 3 tower, as well as the barracks in mid, probably aren't going to live very long. Nature's Prophet doing his best up top, and everybody's in mid. But then again, Exorcism pop, Chu on the front lines. He doesn't actually care. They're going to jump onto him, but they don't get any initiations, so he jumps right back in to his base. And Chu might lose his Aegis here. He's going to drop the Serpent Wards for it. Eul's Sceptered up in the air. Chu's going to dodge that last auto attack, but the poison damage is not going to be enough. He can't jump in just yet, and might just be forced to lose his Aegis. Stegosaurus on the front lines. The tier 3 tower is going to fall as they jump in yet again, looking for Chu. He's going to pop the Aegis, but now Chaos in a very awkward situation, forced to jump back in, but he's not far away enough. BKB is going to wear off soon enough as the Epicenter goes into the back lines. They're going to lose their Shadow Shaman. The BKB on the Viper is going to keep him alive as Chu. He is going to lose his life for real this time, as he doesn't have the Aegis available. And why didn't he Chronosphere? Let's see. Kai throw up in the air. Now Stegosaurus inside the trees. He is going to be brought down, and this is a trade that First Archer are going to be pretty happy with. As the Sarah TP's out, the only survivor is Sand King by his back. Very questionable. I didn't think that would go down the way it did, but then again, a very messy engagement coming out from Insidious Idol.
Yeah, it was a messy engagement. I mean, they get the tier 3 tower down, so one step closer to bringing down even one more racks. But, well, I don't think First Departure like gets really to a position where they can say like, hey guys, we are trading better, let's go. Because the problem is in all these fights, I still think Insidious Idol is always in a good shape to take objectives down, and with top already being enforced and then maybe bottom coming on top of it, that is a position where First Departure might not be able to counter this anymore, so they have to protect that bottom racks at all costs. And at the moment it worked out. Now the question is what they make out of it.
Yeah, it really is. Nature's Prophet the only one that's getting some decent farm, and he's right-clicking pretty hard with the Demon Edge. Now he's just going to be full combat Nature's Prophet with the exception being of the BKB, but then again he's playing more like a split pusher, not really showing to the fight till the very end. So I'm not sure if his build is actually matching his playstyle. Currently, we are potentially looking for a pickoff coming out from KS here. He almost has enough money to finish up his Scythe and is getting dangerously close to that. He zips, finds himself a regeneration rune. Going to be happy with that pick, although now Polasan, going to drop a ward. That ward might cost him his life. No, they're not going to jump into him, as Polasan's just fine. The D ward potentially is going to come out from both sides. Yeah, looks like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing's really happening here, and Insidious Idol does the right thing. They wait for the next Roshan, possibly, or at least secure the area around it. Like, at the moment, they have absolutely nice vision around it. There's only one Observer ward, but this is, yeah, closer to the Radiant jungle. It's not giving really vision for anything that's rotating into the Rosh pit. Roshan is going to be back within... we're not sure yet. In 1 minute, we're going to see the final timer. Nevertheless, Insidious Idol, they can just hold back at the moment and wait for this Roshan, farm a bit more, and that's what they do at the moment, pushing lanes towards the enemy base, so the Nature's Prophet has more work to do to push it out, like bottom, but like top. But even top is there as taking care of the trees that have been pushing.
Yeah. Nature's Prophet finds himself farmed to get an MKB up. I thought he was just going to go for Daedalus, but then again, the Heaven's Halberd on the Bristleback is going to be annoying for him, and he might be able to focus him down, but then again, is that really the target you want to be going for? It's still going to be some nice damage for Mikasa at the very least. Well, Chibix as well as Polasan are patrolling the enemy jungle and potentially find out the Nature's Prophet, but then again, who's finding who? They're going to start with the Burrow Strike. Now Mystic Flare on top of him. Mikasa doesn't have the Blade Mail popped, and they're going to commit the epicenter for this as well. They'll find it. Polasan dropping very low, but Ghost Scepter is going to keep him safe up against those Treants. They got the kill, for sure, and I suppose they're not going to go for the kill, another big fight until they get an Aegis, or at least fight around the Roshan pit. And 80 seconds, Roshan's not going to be up until then. I think that's about the timer that's left.
Yep, and this smoking, I don't know what they're trying to achieve with it, but at the moment, they were assuming that someone is around the Ancients, but they're not. Instead, Chibix might be the target. Oh god, all they need is vision, and yes, of course they have a gem. Even Kai alone might be enough, no, but the Storm is gonna get him. Even all his mobility is not gonna save him.
Yep, Burst Strike away, he's gonna get caught out very effectively. Sternster is going to go all the way back to base, but then again, it's
Look at these Sarah.
What?
Look at these Sarah, casual range tracks.
Yeah.
All that for the price of Chibix. Range tracks on 9 HP, I can't even believe that. Look at it, it's surviving.
Well, there you go. Range Barracks is going to live, but in the end, it's a Range Barracks. They already got the melee down there, but if anybody just breathes on that Range Barracks, it's going to fall down.
And look at Roshan. You respawn pretty much on one of the lowest timers possible, and this is, of course, a Roshan with a cheese. So at the moment, it's 22-22, 35 minutes in. As in gold, Craft, Insidious Idol still have like a decent-ish lead. It could be more, it should be more to be on the safe side, but this is just enough. With the Roshan, it's going to go a bit more in their favor, plus they are farming. That Chibix kill, I guess it's not the biggest deal of all.
Yeah, into the Roshan pit, they're going to go. Currently, Chu is just slowing this up, and he's more than capable of doing so. I don't think they have to commit Exorcism for this. Probably better that they don't. They'll drop the Exorcism for it in the end, but I don't know. It's just going to secure that this is a very fast Roshan. I don't think the first departure would have been able to really contest it, although it's going to make sure that beyond a shadow of doubt they won't be able to. Chi's presumably going to Osiris, the Aegis goes to Chu. Yeah, that is going to be the choice, and Scythe as well as Shiva's on the Death Prophet. We haven't checked her items for quite a bit, but this Death Prophet is hitting her peak.
Yeah, it's buffed. It's a very buffed Death Prophet at the moment. He can take out like at least one target just by hexing a lot of AoE, plus of course the nice auras coming their way. If she falls back and she's not under attack of anything, she can also like regen up really fast with that heart, and well, now the cheese on top of it, it's very hard to kill her. But oh, instead they find the Furion.
Yep, he's just gonna get bashed down. One scythe is all that they need to bring him down, and a nice pickoff for them. They're not going to be able to push high ground as it's quite a ways away, but this is a decent opening for them. They're probably going to take a little bit too long to get up before the Nature's Prophet is there, but he has no buyback, and that's a really solid pickoff, as he bought the Hyperstone before he died.
Yeah, well, the good thing what First Departure is doing right now is just pushing at all costs, just pushing the lanes away, which means Insidious Idol, right now they are down a Furion on First Departure's side, so this is the perfect timing to go, maybe even to force a buyback, which does not exist because he's like 70 gold short of his buyback. But Storm is pushing out bottom, like top he was doing that before the Prophet was dying, and even in the mid the creeps are around the river line, so well, they're doing a good job, which means Insidious Idol, they have to push out a lane, also force a fight, maybe get another pickoff because, yeah, Furion is going to respawn very soon for base defense. But they might even find Kai here. Oh, this is bad news.
He'll be able to blink away, not going to disjoint the concussive shot slow. Now the Atos coming out from Shagasaurus, they're just going to run him down. He doesn't have enough friends to help him out. Now he's silenced up. They bring in Chu, and he's just going to fall. That's your first life down, and he's going to lose Reincarnation for 160 seconds, and now his second life, Skyrath Mage Mystic Flare right on top of him. They'll Burrow Strike him down, and not a whole lot committed, actually. Pulson's going to be low on mana, but he'll have Mystic Flare for the next fight. So it actually doesn't matter, as the Zipzap from the Storm Spirit is going to say hello to Sir, but he doesn't actually care. Down to bottom, they're going to go as Lubby's going to be silenced up, and he's just going to be brought down so quickly. Double kill for Shagasaurus is the buyback from the Wraith King. It's not going to save the range barracks. Melee is still standing, however, but they have Chu there with the Chronosphere. Zip in from the Storm Spirit, finds nobody, pops the BKB, and now he's just running around like a chicken without its head. Kai on the front lines, man fighting up against too many heroes, and now they find Chaos. He's going to catch a Chronosphere on more of his friendly heroes than enemy heroes, but it's going to be enough as Asira notches that kill with the Exorcism. Dafa trying to man fight up against Chu, but he has an Aegis and doesn't care that much. He'll get stunned by the Fire Blast, and now they zip-zap in with Chaos. They're going to use him up in the air. BKB comes out from Chu as he bashes down Kai. Silence comes out, and both of them is... The Blade Mail is going to do very little to nothing. Chu's being focused down by the Viper, but then again, with this tanky build, the Viper isn't doing that much damage. Chu up to the high ground, he's going to go. A lot of buybacks expended by First Departure, and I think that's pretty much all that they have out of the tank here. But then again, they lose a range barracks for nothing really committed from Insidious Idol and everything committed from First Departure.
And even a second on top because the creeps are already pushing in, even towards the tier 4 towers. Kai is busy that, but losing almost like 50% of his HP just by defending the creeps. And in mid we also have now the Bristleback pushing out. So we have at the moment 2 lanes entering like the base pretty much soon, and now they go bottom here.
Yeah, Storm Spirit jumps in. They're going to get the Aegis off the Faceless Void, which is useful and all. Now the Skyrath Mage is going to fall. They're looking for a Sarah, but Sarah's a little too tanky. They are going to get a nice Burrow Strike onto 2, the Epicenter being channeled. Dafa pops a BKB, so this Epicenter is going to do very little to nothing as Kai's getting bashed down by Chu. Chu actually going to fall here, and this time for real, the backtracks aren't going to be enough to save him. Melee Barracks is still standing as Chipix just channeling the Sandstorm casually in the enemy base. They're going to be zoned out in a huge zip-in from Chaos. He does have enough mana to drop his spells, but now he's silenced up and in a bit of an awkward situation. Shagasaurus is on the front lines. Dafa... Oh, they're going to zone out Shagasaurus, and now caught without a team here. They are going to lose their Bristleback fairly easily. So, in the end, Insidious Idol stick around for a little bit too long as they force staff away their Death Prophet, TPing from the Nature's Prophet. Not going to be able to find anybody, but now with the Blink, he's going to get hexed up, and now he's there looking for it. He's going to silence TP out. He's going to be able to make it. No, he's not. He gets hexed up, and now the Viper Strike comes through. 4 heroes down the side of Insidious Idol. Somehow, First Departure find a lot better defense than I thought they would.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean... Their base is in a bad shape, but now this might actually be the counter push they are looking for. But the problem is, where do you push? Mid is probably the best thing to go for, because there the creepers is at least around the river line. The problem is bottom. Well, at least Mikasa's gonna take care of it. But top, they need someone who defends top, because they're already munching through those tier 4 towers, and this is of course bad news. Like, if you keep losing to 4 towers to that side push while you are pushing the enemy base, which might even be not successful, this is again bad news for First Departure. That's, yeah, the burden you have when you play 1 Rex down.
Yeah, it's going to take a couple more fights like that for First Departure to actually be able to do anything on this map. But for now, Insidious Idol are still entirely comfortable with where they are. Faceless Void, going for a very late Aghanims.
Yeah, interesting, to be honest. Like, Aghanim Scepter on a Faceless Void that is level 18, I've never seen this one. Well, actually, I've seen this before, but it was always, in my opinion, a bad choice. You want to have a if you go Aghanim Scepter, you really want to go for a fast Aghanim Scepter, so you get those 120 and 100-second cooldown on the Chronosphere down to 60. That's what Aghanim Scepter does, but, well, he's already on an 80-second. But in the mid, they found Chibix, and that's an easy kill. It should be, at least in theory. Yes, the Shackles is long enough to hold him in place. So easy kill against on Chibix, but Insidious Idol, they are just holding back and farming. The only thing they have to be careful... Okay, Mikasa's calling him out now. They have to be careful of First Departure doing a mid push, a frontal one. Just going for it.
Yep, well, the Flames are coming out. Both of these teams are pretty friendly with each other. They're going to lose a melee barracks down in bottom from the Nature's Prophet push. And, well, that's going to be very useful for First Departure and going to keep themselves a little bit more comfortable in this game. As the pickoff on Sand King is going to be a little bit more fruitful than I thought it would be. So yeah, especially with Chu going for the Aghanim Scepter, First Departure might have found themselves a bigger opening than they would have hoped for. As the Faceless Void, he's not going to be hitting that hard, especially in the physical damage department. And the BKB is still pretty long on the Viper at 7 seconds. It's serviceable. Storm Spirit, I think his is down to 4, and yeah, it is. So he's still going to be in quite a bit of trouble if he jumps in. Yeah, it's a very interesting game, to say the least. First Departure are still not in control of it, but they found themselves a little bit more leash than they should, in all honesty. 10,000 gold lead in the favor of Insidious Idol is not unsurmountable at this point in the game, and honestly negligible. 5,000 experience also in about the same boat. Those graphs don't matter at all. It's all about how these team fights go down.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how both teams go against all the predictions. I mean, First Departure having a horrible laning stage, but coming out as a winner, like as soon as the first fight start. Then Insidious Idol makes some really good moves, secure like even the third Roshan on their side, had this one Rex down, but still First Departure somehow managed it to keep the next objective alive, plus turning around these fights, making it 27-27 here in the 44th minute. It's very surprising, and to be honest, now that we are even on the edge with the buybacks, like, I think we might see a very, very game-deciding fight pretty much soon. Or Insidious Idol says, like, hey guys, we're holding back and we wait for Roshan number 4, which we know about very much soon, because 2 more seconds and we know the exact timer on Roshan 4, but I think before that we're gonna see a fight top.
Yep, let's see. Zipping from the Storm Spirit, they find themselves a Pulson, and Pulson did not stand a chance. The Scarlet Mage at this point in the game is easy pickings for First Departure to take down, and that's going to make going for this Roshan a little bit harder, but the Roshan timer is going to be incredibly short. 25 seconds on top of the additional timer, it's absolutely nothing, and that's probably where we're going to see a pretty big exchange, unless they go for top. Is down in bottom. Mikasa, full rat mode engaged, as he's going to be forced to blink away. Won't be able to do very much, although chip damage on this range barracks is going to be permanent.
Wait, what? Did I miss that? The Meteorex was down already?
Yeah, it was taken when they got the Sand King pick.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, never mind that. I actually thought it was the range Rex, but I'm completely blind. The Meteorex was down, and the range Rex is now like his little rat target. Okay, that's interesting. Now, well, with Roshan being up, this is a bad position for Insidious Idol, because maybe First Departure is like, hey guys, let's sneak Roshan. But then again, if they go into Roshan, Insidious Idol, they will not let this happen. They will contest for sure. I think both teams should contest the next Roshan, because when everything is on the line and the game is relatively balanced, then you should not have, Roshan taken that slightly.
Yeah, you definitely can't. And I think both teams are probably going to stay pretty far away from the Roshan pit, although currently First Departure are the ones with the most vision around it, but it's still only one ward that is probably not long for this world. So yeah, it's just going to be a standoff game. First Departure are going to be okay with this, as their Storm Spirit still has plenty of items to pick up, and any farm that they can get on him is going to be useful. Viper still has some slots to fill, or at least 1-2 actually. Mechanism probably going to be replaced on top of it. This Viper actually has very little. I thought he had more.
Yeah, actually he's really not a very farm Viper. With 18.4, he's having just as much farm as Chagasaurus, who was the offlaner. But talking about farm, he might actually lose some farm. No, never mind.
Yeah, just gonna TP out. No Yule Scepter or anything along those lines for this back, and this is an opening that Insidious Idol might use to take Roshan. This Roshan's a very fast one if they're able to sneak it, and currently, First Departure, they're showing up top with the Storm Spirit as well as the Nature's Prophet. Despite the Nature's Prophet being able to TP back in, I think it's going to be too late. Exorcism not even necessary for this, they're just going to take it. get themselves the second cheese, and now another Aegis onto Chu. It's going to be fairly easy for them to snag Aegis, and now 2 stacks of cheese on DP.
Well, that's the truth. I mean, sometimes you don't even need a kill. Sometimes you just, oh, what's Shagasaurus doing here? Running into 3. I mean, sure, he's tanky and whatnot, but I don't know if he really wants to go for it. He can slow them down pretty much forever. A lot of AoE coming out, obviously, now the boogies, but yeah, Viper, this time you're not getting out of here.
Yep, I don't know, Bristleback with the Halberd as well as Heart Atos, he's stacking the HP. Oh, Nature's Prophet looking for the tier 3 tower with the help of Chibix. Bolasan going to throw a concussive shot as Chibix is just sandstorming away. Mikasa's going to get out of there as the Storm Sphere falls inside the Chronosphere in mid. They're going to find Kai as well as he's bashed down. There is going to be the reincarnation pop, but he's not going to survive a second time. He's going to get bashed. TP away. They're going up towards top to fight this Nature's Prophet who gets burrow struck. Mikasa trying to sprout TP, but the Shiva's guard is going to make that impossible. Silenced up and brought down. Full team wipe across the map.
Beautiful play here by Insidious Idol. Perfectly splitting up. Like 3 of them doing the business in the mid, while top, they tried to split push, but the 2 supports telling the time, and Nature's Prophet without vision, and that's the bad news for him. Like, he had not even a Necro because he went for that right-click build. Like, he couldn't do much, and now in the mid, this is gonna be bad news. Where are the buybacks? We need buybacks. A lot of them. Otherwise, they can't defend us.
Yeah, Viper, the only one that shows his face. Gareth, or Shadow Shaman is going to come back, but now halberded up. Dafa, he's also Hex. They jump in with KS as he buys back and tries to focus down Chu. He has an Aegis. He might lose it here, and now the buybacks come out galore. They're going to drop the Skywrath Mage, Mystic Flare onto KS, although he's going to be able to walk out through a lot of that damage. Shagasaur is still in the front lines, although very tanky, is might not being tanky enough as Kai is going to fall. He's going to be brought down. That's a reincarnation as they drop the epicenter. Sand King is going to be dropped down by Mikasa on the back lines, but Mikasa is going to lose his dieback here. And now on the front lines is Sarah. They're focused down Kai with the Blade Mail. He's doing a decent amount on these front lines. They're just not focused him. Here comes the big zip in, but the Chronosphere going to catch out too much as now he bashes down Chaos. They are going to lose Shagasaurus from this Shadow Shaman, but now Shadow Shaman also going to fall. Dafa, the only survivor, and even that not for long. Buyback, Boots of Travel in from the Bristleback. Yeah, that's all that she wrote.
That has to be it, yeah. Viper, like, he's gonna die. That Death Prophet, they really tried to focus him down, but man, he popped 1 cheese. And even if they got him lower after the cheese, like, the exorcism was about to end, healing him up again, and well, what a forth and back game. Like, seriously, like, till 5 minutes ago, it was not clear who will win this game, and if they would not have taken this weird split fight and top and mid at the same time and losing it, First Departure still had a chance to, you know, turn it all around.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot came down to their draft and they just weren't able to combat against a Faceless Void Chronosphere. Even though he didn't get the greatest Chronos, it was still enough. And, well, into Game 2 we're going to go. I'm pretty excited for this one. It should be a good game.